Today I'm going to explain something that I get asked all the time, and it's how real estate agents get paid. I think there's a common misconception on how professional real estate people get paid. So just to give you some background, regardless of who you work with and who you're affiliated with in terms of brokerage, Remax, Long & Foster, Keller Williams, Century 21, Coldwell Banker, they're all essentially the same if we're being honest. And they don't pay agents anything, they actually collect money from agents. Being in real estate is the truest form of 100% commission, meaning not only do you not get paid anything unless you sell something, you have to pay money to be in the game. So there is some barriers to entry there, and that's why most agents exit the business within 3 to 5 years. There's 85% turnover rate. And I don't think maybe even some of the people who get in the business understand how they get paid. So for you, a consumer, hopefully, this might make sense and kind of help you wrap your head around why we do what we do and how we do it. So episode 9, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. It's very basic, and it's very simple. An agent can get paid, first and foremost, by listing a property for sale. So a homeowner calls and says, hey, I want to list and sell my house. They obviously want to sell it for the most amount of money, typically within the least amount of time. So they're looking for someone who has skills to market the property, get as many eyeballs on the house as possible, online, print, and in person, and then someone who has the capacity to be a strategic advisor throughout the process once the home is getting offers, going through negotiations, getting the house under contract, getting through inspections, and finally getting to settlement. So it's a lot. So they're looking for a professional to list the property for sale, to sell it. Typically, this is a fee of between 5 and 6%. So to give you an idea, we'll just use 6 because it's a round number, or even number rather. At 6%, hey, I'll sell your house. You're gonna give us a 6% listing commission. Here's where that money goes. Well, whoever brings the buyer is gonna get half that commission, and whoever's representing the seller gets the other half of that. So boom, if I'm listing your house and I sell it and there's another agent brings the buyer, I'm getting 3%. And then furthermore, out of that 3% is why we can justify spending thousands of dollars to take professional pictures, professional photography, and pour ourselves into getting the home sold. So listing a property for sale, the seller is who pays the commission. The other way an agent can get paid is if they represent a buyer. Now what's cool about buyer representation is if I'm representing you as a buyer, you don't have to pay me anything. I will show you listings, send you stuff you're interested in, on the market, off the market, doesn't matter. Because I know if you buy a home, the seller is willing to pay me. So you, the buyer, don't have to pay me anything. I'm gonna get paid by the seller. So my only goal when I'm working with the buyer is to provide world-class service to you, beat down the seller as much as I can for your benefit, and do such a good job you send me referrals. And you don't have to pay me. Again, the seller will. So that's the other way to get paid. So representing the seller, representing the buyer. If you do both, you get more of the pie, which is great. And there's also rentals. The way a rental works is when a rental is listed for rent, the commission is 1 month's rent. Normally here in the greater Baltimore area, that's typically what we do. Whoever brings the tenant gets half month, and whoever listed the rental gets the other half. So again, if you're looking to rent a house, you don't have to pay the agent anything. Hey, we'll go show you rental opportunities, and if you get one, the seller's gonna give us half the first month's rent. Now, the reason this is important is to know this is why if you're working with an agent or you're thinking about working with an agent, work with someone who isn't desperate to jam you into a house. Work with someone who's in it for the long term, full time, who wants to be a strategic advisor. This goes for listing a home and if you're looking to buy a home. You need to work with somebody who has your best interest at heart. I can't tell you how many times we've talked people out of buying a house because I want to protect you in your financial well-being, because when you do buy a house, And if we do a good job, I'm gonna be the one selling it someday. So I need to make sure you're making money and not losing money. So if you have any questions on how agents get paid, give me a call. This is true across the board. And you gotta be careful because agents will stick little things in there to make more money. I'm not gonna dive into it and give you all the riffraff that tends to go on, but this is how it works 99% of the time. So if you didn't know, now you do. Thanks. Oh, by the way, these numbers can get twisted and turned any number of ways. And there are people who are willing to list your house for 1% or for a flat fee. If you pay someone peanuts, you're gonna get monkeys doing your work. Anyone can list the home, not everyone can get it sold. So as an educated consumer who's looking to buy or sell a property, these are good questions to ask. Meaning, how much do you charge? How much are you offering the other agent? A lot of times, you could sign up for 6% to list your house. The agent's only gonna give 2% to the buyer's agent and keep 4% themselves, and they're not even gonna do anything. That happens, and then the house doesn't sell. But it's important to know and ask these types of questions. Hey, if I pay the full 6%, what types of services should I expect? How much are you gonna spend on social media advertising? How do you guarantee that I'm gonna get views on my house? How much Zillow exposure do you have in my zip code to drive leads? How are you gonna communicate with me in a professional manner? Hey, when it's 9 o'clock at night and someone's calling, they wanna see the house, but you're with your kids, what happens? Because we've answered all those questions here at the Sure Group. If you call our number, 410-814-2403, you will always get a human being answering the phone to answer your questions and take you through the next logical step, maybe hand you off to an agent when you're ready. That's important. So, who you work with matters.